Good morning. You like this cup? I don't know if I can say this on the video, on the tubes, but do you see this cup? So if it's morning for you, go grab your coffee. If it's evening for you and you're like, I feel like I should take a class that's titled Morning for the evening, what's up? More power to you. Although, yeah, I mean, you can definitely take this class at night. But I would advise not to if we were like doing back bends. But your girl don't like to do back bends in the morning, so I didn't throw that in this class. But anyways, we're here to flow. We're here to stretch. We're here to wake up a little bit maybe. So let's get right to it. My name is April. Thanks for coming to hang out. I'll have to remember to like flip and do that in these classes sometimes. But yes, hello if you're new. If you've been hanging out, welcome back. Thanks for the advice. I had a friend say that the audio was a little low, and I myself personally need to remember to speak up anyway, so it was good advice to get, and I really appreciate the feedback because I want to make sure your class and your viewing experience, your listening experience is up to par, so you keep hanging out with me. Okay, now I think we're ready. So yeah, we're just gonna do, try to keep it short for all of us, like a good morning, I don't want to say stretch, a good morning flow. And with this flow today, I'm gonna actually use blocks and a strap. Of course, like I've said before, I won't waste time with it, but if you don't have these, you don't need them. I'll be cueing them through some things that might feel nice. And you can always find something that's the equivalent to this too, right? So go grab your blocks, go grab your strap, go grab your coffee, and come and meet me on your mat. To start off, we're going to use the block right away. So we're gonna find supported bridge pose. So when you come to your back, nice and easy. Take a moment there, of course, if you need to. Might just place your hands on top of your belly, might just find a breath or two here. But when you're ready, you're gonna set up for bridge pose. Of course, we're not going to do bridge pose, but you are going to drive weight into your heels so you can lift your hips up and shimmy this block right on the sacrum. So the sacrum, I always like to explain, is right at your lower back, but right before the booty. So that little sweet space in between. And I personally like to have my block, I'll show you here too. I like to have it on the second setting. A yoga instructor that teaches here, she calls it the hot dog setting. I was like, that's genius. So I use the second setting, hot dog setting, but you can always try the flatter setting too, which would be your hamburger setting. But I like the higher elevation for my hips with the second setting. So test out both of those spaces, see where you land, and then land there. Drop the shoulders a little bit. Try to tuck your chin towards your chest. Oftentimes we gaze up towards the ceiling, so you feel your chin poking up towards the ceiling. We want to bring everything right back down. And just let them naturally fall towards the sides if that feels okay. Palms might face up so you can receive some energy. You can create some good juju for your day. And if you are really having any issues trying to focus or just trying to bring yourself into your practice space, you might find comfort in placing your hands on top of your belly and just finding a couple steady breaths there. As we start class, if it is morning for you, do a morning check-in. What did you wake up with? How are you feeling? Where's your headspace? Giving yourself a moment to do that full body scan through the mind, through the body, through the soul. And then inviting that breath into your space, nice and heavy through the big toes, through the heels. Allowing the knees to splay out just slightly as you release any forced activation there. So finding a sense of surrendering through the lower half here as well, even if that means the knees gently knock towards the right and the left. And with the added elevation for the hips, try to feel lightness through your lower half here as well. So breathing into your hips, into your pelvis. Notice the inflation you can bring to the lower half, to your belly. And what can you let go of as you find these next few exhales? Slowly letting the eyes shut down here as you focus on 2 more steady breaths. Big breath in. Nice long exhale, let it go. Finding one more just like that with me. Big full breath in. exhale, let it go. Now this time you're going to find a breath in with me. We're going to hold at that top. So really try to fill up the best you can through your sides. Send it to your belly first through your diaphragm, then let it naturally fill up your ribs, your chest, your collarbones. We're holding at the top. Find that breath. Now sigh, let it go. Be loud here. You got one more just like that. Fill up, breathe in. And exhale, let it go. Beautiful. Gently bring the eyes open. And if you're okay doing so, keep the block under your sacrum. You might even grab onto the block just to find more stability. And gently extend your legs up towards the ceiling. So finding a legs up the wall. And of course, it could be the first time you're finding a legs up the wall today. So when you do find this space, point and flex, look at your toes. Encourage some space in between all 10 toes. And then you gently place the feet back onto the mat, lift the hips off the block, and set the block aside. Notice how the tailbone feels as you find that neutral support through your spine. And then heel toe your feet towards the right and towards the left. Or the left foot towards the left, right foot towards the left. Left foot towards the left, right foot towards the right. I can totally see how that is just confusing now. Bring your hands on top of your belly, and then we just windshield wiper, left to right. And I want you to be a little bit slower as you start. So see how this feels for your lower back. You might even notice the added quad stretch you get as you drop the knees towards the right and towards the left if you linger enough to let that sensation occur. And of course, your head stays rested, shoulder blades, they're rested here. And then bring it back towards center. Next space we'll find together is that happy baby pose. So let the hands grab the outer edge blades of your feet. You can quite literally just grab onto your shins here as well if the feet are just way too far out of reach. And you're getting the same sensation, right? So the same idea of driving your knees down, aiming for a inner thigh stretch, inner groin stretch. You might sway left, sway right. And when you find your happy baby pose, no matter like what class you're doing, wherever you're doing a class, make sure your head and your shoulders stay rested. So you don't want to like look like this, really struggling with the torso, adding a lot of like stress to the upper half. More so you want to relax it here. Now try to find stillness in your happy baby pose and then extend your right leg out nice and long and deeply bend your left knee. So your right leg's gonna go towards the right side of your space. And if you're able to, keep grabbing onto the outer edge blade of your feet. If you're not able to, you can always release as well and just grab onto what makes sense as you aim to lengthen out the hamstring. Now switching sides here, we're gonna extend our left leg out nice and long, deeply bend the right knee. Let the right heel try to grab the back of your right leg. And now when you come back towards center, release your grip, bring the legs closer together, and go ahead and just pulse your shins back toward your face, finding a gentle bend in the knees here too. Nice. When this feels good to you, go ahead and bring the knees back inside the chest. I want you to rock the length of your mat a few times to build some momentum and wake up your core. And we're going to come to an easy seat, but at least 3 to 4 nice rocks up and down your mat. Beautiful. And when you find your seat, grab a sip of your coffee, grab a sip of your tea if you need to, and also grab your strap here too. Now when you find your strap, we're gonna get right into the shoulders here with this as well. So how I like to explain grabbing the strap. So when you find the strap, you want some tension here, yeah, but you're not like trying to rip this thing apart. You want enough tension that you're actually receiving a stretch when we find these next movements together that will link with our breath. So, and I'll kind of turn to the side so you can see here too. Essentially the strap should be like pretty straight. So you have enough pull, you have enough grip that the strap is straight. It's not like all loosey-goosey here. But you might have to adjust this as you link it with breath to movement, and that is totally okay. Give yourself a few rounds and kind of see how it goes. And of course, I'll be here with you walking through it. So grab the strap, place it in your hands, and then rest your hands on top of your knees and just shut down your eyes with me for a moment. Finding just a nice seated pose as you can feel your spine elongate, shoulders stack in line with your hips, so you're sitting up nice and tall. Chin's gonna be parallel to your mat here, so although the eyes are closed, your gaze is towards your horizon. And check in with the shoulders here one more time. See if you can drop them down, essentially kind of squeezing the shoulder blades together a little bit. And we find a nice big breath here together, my friends. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Now let's start with our shoulders. Go ahead and extend your arms out nice and long. Your knuckles are going to face the ground here, and your arms are in line with your shoulders, so they're not higher, they're not lower. Nice straight line. And like I said, breath to movement here. So as you find a breath in, you're going to reach up nice and tall with your arms, and you're going to stop when you need to stop. You could be here. This could be enough for your shoulders. You could be all the way back here. This could be enough for your shoulders. There's no wrong range to find. I just encourage you to find the one that fits your needs. So that's gonna be our breath in. Now as we exhale, we gotta come all the way back around. I like to think cat pose myself as I tuck my chin towards my chest and I drive my knuckles towards the top of my space. Now I want these movements to be a little bit longer, so that means our breath is going to be a little bit longer here too. We're waking up our breath, we're waking up our body together. Find a breath in, pull yourself through, drive the knuckles up high. Little stretch for the collarbones, might feel good to linger, finding a gentle, small bend in your elbows. Now as you exhale, envision that cat-like pose. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Sit bones are nice and heavy here. Couple more with me. Inhale, reach through your sides. And then as you exhale, round through the back. One more, nice and steady. Pull your heart space through. Gaze up. Say hello to your shoulders. Last time here, we exhale, chin to our chest, hold and breathe for 3, for 2. Hands come back towards heart center on 1. Nice job. Go ahead and release the strap here as well when you're ready. And I just like to move sometimes. I do a chair yoga class on Mondays, so we do a lot of movement with our torso, a lot of movement with the arms. And then when I want the class to take a little break, I'm like, just kind of side stretch, you know? Shimmy the shoulders, get some of those movements around. Good. Now coming back towards center. There's a little baby spider on my floor. It's okay. Come back towards center. Find a breath in, reach up, gaze up. And exhale, bring it back through heart center. Another moment here to connect your breath with your movement. Inhale, reach. Nice long exhale, bring it back. Beautiful. We're gonna find a little side stretch here and we'll link it with some movement. So when I find my morning practices, I like to invite more so slow intentional movement because you know you're kind of waking up, you're getting all the sticky spaces out. So I'm hoping that you gather that from this side stretch that I like to do in the morning, and we'll do it together. Left hand, bring it out. I always like to say, the further your left hand goes, the more intense the stretch is going to be for your right side. If you don't want it that intense, we bring our left hand closer towards our left thigh. If you do want that intense, crawl your left hand out, but you don't lose the anchoring sensation, the anchoring feeling of this right sit bone. That stays down. That's where we anchor. So once you crawl that left hand towards the left side of your space, right palm's gonna face the ground towards the right side of the mat. The right palm face the ground, nice straight right arm. Now we're gonna linger for the first round, but then we'll add the sweeping motions to it, and eventually our right hand is going to be our placement, and our left arm, left hand's gonna lift up here too. But you'll kind of gather what I'm talking about once we get right into it. So right arm's extended out towards the right side of your space, right palm's facing down. When you inhale, sweep that right hand over towards the left side of your space. Let it go up overhead and let your gaze essentially follow your right arm as it tracks behind you. Like I said, we're going to linger for a moment. So realign, recheck in with your right sit bone. Anchor it down nice and heavy. Now as you exhale, right hand comes towards the top of your space, Take your time. And then right hand finds the right side of your mat and we switch our sides. Left hand goes up overhead. Let your gaze chase your left arm so your chest will go up. 1 or 2 big steady breaths for your left lung. Now as you find this next exhale, link it with your movement. Exhale, left hand chases the top of your space. And then it gently plants towards the left side of your space. Breath in, right arm high. And keep this movement going. Exhale will be your cue to switch. Once that right hand plants, we inhale, left hand high, gaze towards the ceiling. Good. Exhale, switch it out. Inhale, reach. And you got 4 more rounds here all together. So 2 on the right, 2 on the left. And from there, we're going to meet in an easy fold over our ankles. So you'll still be in your seat here. Good. Next time you come to that middle, go ahead and bring both hands towards that space. Push into all 10 fingertips, lift your palms off of the mat, and then tuck your chin toward your chest as you scooch your sit bones back. Think of unclenching the jaw here as you gently gaze towards the left, towards the right. See if you can release something from the back of your neck. Feel the elongation through the back body, the shoulder blades. Maybe you sway left, sway right with the torso. Good. Gently crawl your hands back on top of your thighs. So you come back to a seat, sitting up nice and tall. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Good. If the eyes are closed, gently flutter those eyes open and meet me in a forward fold at the top of your mat. So uncross the ankles, extend the legs, and then give your hips some space. Heel toe the feet about hip distance apart, maybe a little wider. And you find a bend in the knees as you let your torso get nice and heavy. Crown of the head is going to chase the ground beneath you as you find sways towards the left, towards the right, waking up the feet a bit here too. Noticing if you can do less. So relax the gaze that's in between the legs. You might open up the jaw, move some stuff around. And then we come back towards center. Think about finding a halfway lift with your next inhale. Hands can find the shins, at least for this first round. And then exhale, find a fold. Now big breath in. We're going to bring all the way up, root to rise. Ground down into your big toes. Push your hips forward. Gaze up. Now exhale, bring those hands right back through heart center. Now another breath in, hands are going to go up nice and high. We're going to bend in cactus as we exhale. So bend in cactus, those elbows, think very baby back bend. Now inhale, bring it back up, knit the ribs back in. Exhale, bend in cactus. Inhale, we reach up tall. Now bend your knees as you exhale, hinge and folds. Inhale, halfway lift. We got that first downward facing doggy. So bring the hands to the mat, step the feet back, find your down dog. Be explorative in this downward facing dog, so meaning explore your spaces, bend your knees, sway your hips. You might even gently lift one hand off the mat, placing it back down, switching sides. Just see what you can wake up a bit. It's first downward facing dog. Separate all 10 fingers. Notice if you can encourage your triceps to rotate forward. Eyes of the elbows will shine towards the top of your mat. Encourage your chest to go back towards your thighs by pushing into your hands, especially the L's of your hands. So you knit the hands back down. And we'll work some spinal waves into this here too. So when you find an inhale, think plank pose, undulate through your spine. And as you exhale, deeply bend your knees, push your hips on back, think down dog. This is one fluid movement, my friends. So every inhale, we're gonna roll it forward, take your time. Every exhale, a little activation of the core as you lift that lower belly back up, downward facing dog. Keep that going, 2 more rounds. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, down dog. Now inhale, plank pose. Exhale, down dog. Now this time we inhale the heels up nice and high. Very slow, very controlled. Lower the knees to the mat. Finding a tabletop pose. Now from your tabletop pose, go ahead and work 1 round of cat-cow here. So inhale, drop your belly. I want you to linger. And then exhale, push and round. We're gonna linger. Coming back to that neutral tabletop pose, I want you to keep your toes tucked and come have a home on your heels. So think toe pressure pose. It's always a beautiful time to wake up the feetsies with me, right? So wake up the feetsies with me. Think of shifting yourself back even a little bit more if you want to add some intensity to this pose. We're just gazing towards the top of our space. And we're going to work a few rounds of cat-cow here as well. If at any point you need to get off your toes, please get off your toes. But if you're with me here, inhale the arms up nice and high, interlace your fingers, flip your palms up towards the ceiling. Push your palms up towards the ceiling like you're quite literally trying to push your ceiling off your house. You find that length through your sides. And we're like Superman and Superwoman because, yeah, why not? Let's push our ceiling off of our house. Find a big breath in. Exhale, cat pose, tuck and round. Couple more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Now inhale, unwind, reach up. And then exhale, bend and cactus. Let it go. Good. Bring your hands back towards heart center and then get off the toes. Tap them if you have them tucked there with me. And then from our tabletop pose, we're going to come right on back to that downward facing dog. Take a breath, find a moment. Elongation through your sides, through your legs, through the arms. Now from here, let's inhale that right foot up towards the sky. Keep all 5 toes pointing towards the ground so your hips stay squared. Your stance might shorten or your lift might shorten there. And now as you exhale, step it through. Think runner's lunge. So we step in between the thumbs. And my bad, I definitely want you to have the blocks here. We're actually going to use the blocks for the entire, I should not say that because I'll probably change my mind, but majority of this sequence, we're going to use the blocks. So go ahead and grab them if you need to. And like I said, my bad, I forgot to mention that. So when you find this runner's lunge, first moment is yours. If you just want to stay still and gaze forward, elongate through the back, that's a beautiful idea. If you want to move a little bit to wake up the extended left leg, you can always move there as well. Get into that right ankle by driving the right knee forward. But eventually we all come back to a runner's lunge and we're going to do a few pulses here together. We're going to pulse through our left leg. So make sure you have a nice long stance, right? Utilize your mat, utilize the range that you have, and we're gently going to dip our left knee down towards the mat. We bring it back up. Playing that game with your hips here. Drop that left knee down. Rise it back up. I want to try to keep your hips relatively low in line with everything. The crown of the head, shoulders, left heel. Yeah, go ahead and find your last 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, drop that left knee down, untuck the toes, bring the blocks on the highest setting here, keeping the hands under the shoulders, and this is how we'll explore our low lunge or Anjaneyasana pose. Now, if you're dying to lift the hands up towards the ceiling, you totally can. But for today, I'm more so focused just on pulsing as you let that pelvis get nice and heavy towards the top of your mat. And the added lift of the blocks, that's already kind of helping the chest stay up. It's already helping you find the shoulders rolling away from the ears. You just got to keep that gaze forward a little bit here too, and try to pull your right hip back. Beautiful. Now go ahead and invite some stillness into this space. Try to reconnect with your right big toe. Keep dropping it down, grounding it into the mat. And then push this into a half split pose when you're ready. I'll let you be the judge of what height the blocks go on for your half split pose, whether you like the highest setting here that we just had it on, or if you prefer to bring it a little bit lower, you can bring it a little bit lower here too. But when you find this half split pose, flex your right toes back towards your face. Find a sense of like pulling your chest through, pulling your collarbones through, and that's really where that hinging from the hip motion is going to occur. So if you want to like gaze up at me here too while we're in this half split pose on our right side, you'll notice that little rounding, that little hunch I have in my back. That is because I'm absolutely not using my hips at all. So when I think of pulling my chest through, I feel that my back elongate, and then I feel my hips hinge. And then my hamstring definitely woke up there too with me. Good. Come on back into your right knee. Place the blocks towards the side. Tuck your back left toes. Find your downward facing dog. Reset here with a breath. Drop the gaze, drop the crown of your head. Then when you're ready, left foot on the move. Inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. And then make sure you flex all 5 toes back down towards the mat as we square the hips. Exhale is going to step you on through. Think runner's lunge as you grab your blocks here again. Oof, and my lower back just popped. Do what you need to for a moment. Bending into your left knee, driving that right heel back. And when you're ready, we bring it back towards center, left knee in line with your left ankle, and start pulsing and dipping that right knee down. And just a pace that makes sense, maybe a little bit slower as you explore this side. And then maybe you ramp it up here a little bit, but we're here together for a steady 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop it down, bring the blocks on their highest setting. Gaze up, find that breath in, pull your left hip back. Dropping that right quad, untucking the back right toes. See if you can drive the shoulders away from the ears a little bit more here. Steady breath, unclench your jaw. Bring some new life, bring some new space into your front body. And of course, if you reached your arms up on the other side, go ahead and reach your arms up here for our last few breaths. Now finding an exhale, you're going to push your hips back towards your heels. Think again that half split pose. Chest is going to pivot slightly over that extended leg. Find a breath in, gaze forward, and then exhale, fold it down. So once you pivot your chest over your extended left leg, you might feel that left hip pull back just slightly. Keeping the hips squared, and you keep that right hip in line with your right knee. See if you can find that sense of pulling the collarbones through. One more breath. Beautiful, my friends. Lunge back through. Place the blocks towards the sides of your mat. Tuck your back right toes. And meet me back in that downward facing dog. Holding the space for a moment, separate all 10 fingers, lift up through your shoulders, push your chest back towards your thighs. Notice the subtle changes from the movements, from the breath. Now when you're ready from here, let's inhale to that plank pose. One and only plank pose we have today that we're going to hold, so hang out here with me, right? Push your hands into the mat, drive your heels back. Wake up the core, the upper abs, and gaze right in between those thumbs. Now shift your shoulders forward just slightly. Elbows stay very close. We lower all the way to the belly. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Untuck the toes. Beautiful. Keeping that momentum going as we work through the spine, work through our torso. Let's find some oscillating cobra poses. Hands will go about 10 to 2. Find a breath in, rise up. Exhale, bring it down. Couple more like that. Elongation through your inhales and your exhales so you can slow down these cobras. Find this experience. See what arrives. Next time you find yourself coming back to your mat, go ahead and stay there. Stack the hands. Find your belly. When you find your belly, just be there. Breathe with me. Drop the shoulders away. Notice that sense of control you're trying to keep with your feet probably. So you're trying to keep those heels a little bit closer together. I want you to just let it go. So you're going to feel your right heel go towards the right and left towards the left. I want you to breathe into your back body with me. Big, full breath. Now come back to placing the hands under the shoulders. Find your tabletop pose. Right back to your down dog. My friends, I got like 2 sun A's for us just so we can link a little breath to movement. And we got pigeon pose waiting for us before we close out our class together, right? So let's do our 2 sun A's. Inhale the heels high. Exhale, walk, step, hop. Top of your mat. Inhale, you halfway lift. Nice flat back. Exhale, you fold. Big breath. We root, we rise. Stand tall. Exhale, bring it through heart center. Breath in, lift. Breath out, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plank pose. Walk it back, jump it back. Find that halfway lower. There is a brief pause here. Then you find that inhale, pull it through. Exhale, back, down dog. Take a breath in. Let it go. Last one, inhale, heels high. Exhale, walk, step, hop. Halfway lift, elongation through your sides. Good. Exhale, fold, micro bend the knees. Ground down into the big toes, bring it up. Exhale, anchor it through. Inhale, find that reach. Push your hips forward. Maybe you swan dive, forward fold. Let it go this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, your high to low plank, your chaturanga dandasana. Take it through it. And find downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Reset. Find your center, find your pace. Next inhale, right foot goes up towards the ceiling. Think pigeon pose. As you exhale, bring that right shin through. Now, you're going to find pigeon pose. We're not going to fold just yet. I want us to find, again, some more movement. Either hands either your fingertips are on the ground right beside your right leg, or you can bring the blocks back here too. Blocks could feel really nice. So we're going to find that same kind of undulation, that same movement through our spine here. So you can kind of think cobra pose when we do this, and just 2 or 3 rounds. Let's do 3 because 3 is actually my fave number. So from your variation with the arms, with the hands, inhale, gaze up. And I want you to think when you exhale, you lead with your chin and also drive into your right shin. So as you exhale, drive into your right shin, little fold, lead with your chin. Now inhale is going to bring you back up. Let your gaze be last. Exhale brings you down. One more inhale, rise. Gaze up, linger. And then exhale, fold it into your pigeon pose. Bring it down. Finding steadiness with your breath. Finding stillness with your space. and perhaps shutting down the eyes for a moment. You know, Fielder has been a good boy. He hasn't done much because he's like sleeping. He's like, it's way too early. Thanks, Mom. See if you can relax the shoulders a little bit more. Good. Gently bring it back up. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Again, you could be on your fingertips here, and I just want you to roll out your neck a little bit. And we are staying low. No more downward facing dogs unless you're dying to go into one. I just want you to shift weight into your right hip. And we're going to bring that left shin forward. Left shin's going to come forward. Untuck your toes behind you, your right toes. And if you use your blocks for this movement, go ahead and bring the blocks back in. And I'm going to just do my fingers just so I can show you kind of what that would look like as well. Like I said, my hands usually frame my left leg. So left hand, left knee. Right hand, inner edge of my left foot. Inhale, gaze up, encourage the hips to get nice and low. And then exhale, lead with your chin, gently press into your left shin. Inhale, rise up. I hate that those words rhyme because it's so hard to say sometimes, but also I talk a mile a minute, so exhale, bring it down. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. Last breath in, bring it up. Linger for a moment, gaze high. And then exhale, fold it down. Find your pigeon pose on your left side. And if I have a block in class, I would say 8.5 out of 10 times. I don't know if the 0.5 makes sense, but I'm making it make sense. I'm always using a block to rest my head on. And I encourage you to do something similar too. So this pose is not even much more enjoyable because you could just hate this pose, which is fair. But I love this pose. I find it enjoyable. I find it much more enjoyable when I actually let my torso relax. So my forearms aren't doing as much work as they need to when I just rest my third eye. And it's like, are you kidding me? You could literally massage your third eye here too. Gaze a little towards the left, little towards the right. And stillness is valid here too. Stillness with your space, finding your breath. Hopefully bringing a little smile to your face, some gratitude for what you have done today. And gratitude for all that you get to do with your day. Wonderful, my friends. Bring it on up. Hands under the shoulders. Gaze up a little bit. Roll out the neck. And you guessed it. We're going to keep it nice and low. Maybe you didn't guess it, but I'm telling you, we're keeping it nice and low. Coming right to our backs. And when you find your back, I want you to have Supta Baddha Konasana legs, so butterfly legs. Feet are together, knees are out nice and wide. And if this is too much, you can always bring your blocks under your knees here as well to add some support to your space. Place the hands on the belly, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Try to unclench your jaw, find your last breath or two. And we're going to let this lead us into a Savasana. So when I leave you into your Savasana, I want you to think, okay. Now once you settle into your butterfly pose of choosing, bring your hands on your belly. We have one breath here together. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Knees will come inside the chest, interlace the hands on top of the shins. And you just have a moment here to sway left, sway right. You might even bring your hands on top of your knees and just open up the knees a little bit. Eventually, this takes you right into your Savasana of choosing. So whether you want to keep the Supta Baddha Konasana legs, whether you want to relax and extend everything out nice and long, drop your hands where you need to, tuck your chin towards your chest. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good night wherever you land for that statement, wherever you currently are in your space. One more breath here with me. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Find your Savasana here. Enjoy your rest. Now, as you find your last few moments in your Savasana, or if you want to linger longer, of course, linger longer. I'm going to have you close right on your back here with me today. Hands can just rest gently on top of your heart space. Give yourself a moment to cherish that space. And of course, if your day is starting after this, like I said, it's going to be a good day. You're going to crush it. Things are going to go your way. And when things don't go your way, they're still going your way. And if you're using this to kind of wind down from your day, enjoy the sensation of winding down, of being done, of closing out your space. And wherever you fall on that spectrum, as always, immense gratitude for your choice to join me in class today. So when you're ready, let's find one more breath here together. Big breath in. As you exhale, bow. Peace. See you next week.